I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is Stoneblock 4. Oh boy, we're jumping back into some more Stoneblock 4, and I tell you what, today might get a little bit scary because we're going to be colliding particles. Not for you to be concerned though, we shouldn't make any black holes. Hopefully. Well, we're not making any black holes yet, but that is definitely something that will happen very soon, and is going to be something that is going to be required of us. Believe it or not, in the quest, we ultimately need to make a black hole, but that is going to require my time being black holed, because I'm going to have to make antimatter, which does mean possibly waiting for antimatter, and it does mean we need to generate these pellets. It's a long process. It's not going to be any longer than it's going to take to actually get the Neutronium, which is the reason why we're going to be getting into the particle collision today. And that's because we need to start the process of producing Neutronium ingots. And that means a Neutronium collector. And this bad boy has one of my least favorite mechanics in modded Minecraft, and that is time gating. It literally just takes 5.92 minutes to generate a single one of these neutron piles. Just don't get me started on this. We do have ways of accelerating it though, which is very, very nice. And so that's why possibly getting the time chicken set up and getting that automated today will also be a good idea. We do have several mods in here that should hopefully allow us to speed that up. That might be worthwhile into getting into, which will require another test tube possibly. Or possibly we could take this test tube and maybe actually use it. Nah, I'm definitely going to set up another test tube that just looks so cool over here. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's kind of narrow things down and let's get focused on what's the task at hand. And that is particle acceleration. So why do we need to set up the Oritech particle accelerator? And I know a lot of you guys have been excited, waited for me to do this because I know you guys have been interested to see how I'm going to approach this. And my approach, I've already sort of tested some things out, is going to be to try and keep this setup as small as possible and allow it to go as big as possible. And I think I've managed to create a setup that can quite literally go all the way up to 50 joules in a 9x9 block space. Yeah, I know it sounds absolutely crazy, but it is possible. But let's dive a little bit deeper into here. So the Neutronium collector, we need these small plutonium pellets. This is going to be required. Everything else here seems rather simple to get my hands on. We also need strange matter to be able to make this, which we are already generating. So we are pretty good there. And that we get the strange matter from just literally breaking down lava inside of the refineries. Now the pellet itself is made by assembling some plastic, adamant ingots, and also plutonium dust. But the plutonium dust, we can't just mine it the normal way by breaking down these uraninite crystals. No. Instead, and we also don't have plutonium ingots. Instead, we have to use particle collision. We need to combine uranium dust and fluxite, and we need to get this up to a collision of 2,500 joules. I'm assuming it's joules, but essentially you need the speed of the particle that is accelerating. You need it to be at least 2,500 speed while it is spinning, and then you throw in either or of these products. So you put fluxite in and it's spinning. You need to collide it with uranium dust, which we're going to get into here in a second. But this is actually the lowest, like one of the lowest tiers that we're going to be worried about. And should be rather easy to automate. The problem is understanding the documentation. Now I have this mod right here, which is added, I believe, from Oritech, that allows you to search things. And I have it set to H. I think it's called the Oracle. And you have this little search button over here, and you can get into the actual wiki page itself within the Modpack, which is pretty darn cool. And here's all the information about particle accelerating. The main thing you have to worry about when doing this normally is you're going to have to worry about taking corners with particles. And this little formula right here will basically tell you how big that particle can be at the speed it is traveling. And so the faster the speed, the less, basically the bigger the corner needs to be that it's traveling through. And this kind of poses some problems. This means that you need to get a really big setup in order for it to actually carry those particles at high speeds. And I mean large. Like I've seen people building these things like over like 50 blocks distance. Like like huge circles. And now this is 100% the case whenever you're using base Oritech, but we do actually have an add-on in here that makes this a whole lot easier. And if we dive on in to the Oritech section, it actually explains this a little bit to us right here. And it shows us a particle accelerator and also an accelerator magnetic field. And I did a little bit of research on this magnetic field, and this thing is what is going to allow us to make this thing so small, but yet still exceed those speed requirements that we're going to need to get to. Now, also, since today is going to be a lot about time, let's take a look at our bounty board. I'm going to need money anyways, and so I've hit the play for 100 hours target, and now I get 500 buckaroos for doing that. Look at me, spending all my time playing this mod pack. Oh, this particle accelerator is dangerous. I don't want you guys to technically build this in your base if you can, well, not do so. And it's probably best to build this inside of the compact machine. And the reason that it makes it dangerous is while you're testing things out, the particles can escape. And when they escape, they can travel really, really far. And they will break everything in their path at any intersection that is a part of this setup. So I just want to make that clear. They can travel so many blocks, and I think they keep traveling through the air and will continue on through another section if it does fire off again. And so it could technically fire off and possibly break some of your stuff. And I don't know if protected claims protects from this, so just be warned. And so I kind of want to set up the at least test area inside of a compact machine. And this is going to be enough space, I think, for the compact machine and for this particle accelerator setup. Oh, and also another thing. You can also be killed by your particle accelerator, so also keep that in mind. But it could also be used as a tool to kill mobs too. That's an interesting thought. So I've planned out the floor grid, and it fits perfectly inside of this little cube, like the Netherack cube. So accelerator magnetic field. This bad boy is going to go right in the middle of this setup. And like I mentioned before, this is about the size of a normal like crop. So think of this in a 9x9. So you have the center here, you go out 1, 2, 3, and then on the fourth block is where our ring is going to go. And the ring is kind of going to be set up in an interesting way. Now, if I face north, I think this is the direction that I want my actual particle accelerators to go onto. So what I'll do is I'm going to place an accelerator right here, and then on these outer rings, I'm going to place accelerators on these outer rings, just 3 of them. That's going to be fine for right now. I'm making a small version of this, not necessarily a super fast version of this. And then outside of those, we want to take our particle accelerator guide rings and place them out, and then right click them until they turn in this direction. And this is kind of important. On this side, we're going to right click until it turns and they link into each other, just like this. And I'm going to continue this on this corner, linking it, this corner, linking it, and kind of looking away makes it easier. And you can also see the guide kind of shows you in the direction that it will eventually point to, just like so. Beautiful. So now this whole thing is almost finished and connected, but we got to get the particle accelerators in here. And we need 2 of them, 1 to send and then 1 to throw in the extra particle that will collide with the particle that is spinning. And that is what's going to trigger the collision and trigger the transformation of the item. So the way we're going to do this is by also placing in some particle accelerator guide rings. Place them in right here. And then we can hook our particle accelerators into them by placing those directly on the outside. And it's going to look something like this. So what's going to happen is the particle accelerator inserts it into the ring and then sends it on its way. And it will go from left. It'll go counterclockwise. If you place it from the inside of the ring, it'll actually send it the opposite direction. So that's kind of something you can note. You could technically make this all fit within the 9x9. I like to have this out here. I think it looks a little bit nicer. But yes, you could fit it inside of here. And I mean, technically, this is all you really need. We can actually trigger this. Even if I remove this for right now, we can trigger it and kind of see what are the base speeds that we can achieve on a basic setup like this, where we only power our accelerators and that's it. And now for this, I am going to be using some nitro gates on these things. And these store 5 million RF per tick, which is pretty nice. And so let's go ahead and test that. I mean, this is a pretty interesting experience. So we're going to put a item in here. We can do like redstone dust. I'm pretty sure you can put anything in here that is going to work as a particle. As soon as I put it in here, it's going to slowly start spinning around. So let's try this. It placed it in, and there it goes. It moved into this one, then gets sped up and continues speeding up, and we can see its speed increasing. And eventually, it dispels it. So if it gets to a certain speed and your angles right here are kind of further out than what that formula allows for, well, it's going to fling it out because it basically can't make this very tight turn at those high speeds. And like I said, that's where we get these really low numbers. This is not something that we want. And the way you would do this normally in Oritech is you just need to make this ring bigger. And you need to make sure that your guide rings are within range of each other to make sure your particles stay within the guide rings. And you just need to keep making it bigger and bigger, but also need to keep in mind that it can lose speed too if there's not enough accelerators accelerating it. So all of those things are kind of factors, and it gets really complicated. But we don't have to worry about that too much in this pack because we have the Oritech Things mod. And so if we just place this in the middle and we make sure we give it some power and also give it a few nice upgrades, I mean, we can make this thing work much, much better. But upgrades it can receive, and it can receive some hefty upgrades, mind you. It has a lot of slots over here for upgrades, but the main one that I want to be focusing on is just simply upgrading underneath of it by using a power bank add-on extender. So a power bank add-on extender is going to allow us to beef up its energy capacity by plus 2.5 million RF. And we also get a transfer rate of 1000 RF per tick that gets added to it. But we can add modules to this, and we could possibly add more of these, I think. But this alone is a nice hefty bonus and an upgrade. I really wish the quest explained this much, much better, because this was a lot of trial and error. Now for this, we are going to need to actually purchase some stuff. I know it's nasty. We've got to buy things. We don't have to craft them, but you can't craft them. They literally have to be bought. And thankfully we don't need a whole lot of them. And I did just come into, several $100s for playing this long. So tier 9 upgrades, here we go. And I need specifically 3 of the capacitor add-on tiers. And I played around with this to find like the perfect balance, by the way. But 3 of the capacity tier 9 upgrades and 3 of the efficiency add-on tier 9 upgrades. And it was weird. I did a bunch of different tests, like combining different values of these. And this just turns out to be like the perfect combo to get this up and running. And this can do up to over 50,000 joules. But we're not going to need that. We really just need a maximum of 15. But still, the fact that it can do this much is kind of wild. So now let's go ahead and throw on some upgrades. So we're going to place the upgrades on the side of the machine just like this. And then we'll add this efficiency add-on. We can add it to the bottom. Doesn't really matter on any of the sides. But I'm going to bring it up to the sides like this. And I'm actually going to add more faces that it can receive power from. Because believe it or not, it actually keeps track of the faces and sources that it's receiving power from and its actual sides. So the more of these gates you have on here, the better. And I need to get another one over here. Oh my goodness, I completely forgot one of the most important things. We must retest. I forgot to link this to the actual particle accelerator. Otherwise, it doesn't know when to kick on. To be able to do this, we need an advanced target designator. Yes, one of these things. And that does mean I need to make another one of those real quick. I think we need the original still. And voila. So I'll take this, shift right click, and then right click on that, and that destination is now saved. Perfect. Okay. Interesting. And it said different dimension, so I'm going to re-link that. There we go, just to make sure that that did connect. Okay. You know what? Before I add on these upgrades, we got to test out just how much this does on its own, because we didn't get the perfect tests earlier. That was not a good indication of how much this can actually help the acceleration. So let's go ahead and drop this in. It has no upgrades other than just being covered essentially in those. And now this thing should function. I feel so bad for completely missing that. Ah, yes. So just it alone is able to pull about 2.5. So that goes to show you how much this thing alone helps. But let's actually throw these on. I mean, you don't have to worry about all that. So now with it fully upgraded, things are looking pretty good. And I'm glad I can check this to make sure our power is in good standings. And so long it has nice and recharged, we can go ahead and drop this in. And this is where things are going to get pretty wild. I'm looking at 20K, give or take, like close to 20,000, if not 20,000. So this already will exceed our 15,000. And look at that go and climb. Yes, and it will reach this very, very easily. There's our 15, so we've already hit the cap of 15. Over 20,000, 21,000 speed on our particle accelerator here. That is beautiful. And just with this setup alone. Something I do want to point out, you can put speed and efficiency upgrades on the bottom of your accelerator motors. And if you do that and you put up to tier 8s on them, which are craftable, tier 9s you have to buy. Those are very expensive. But just with tier 8s, this thing will do 55,000, by the way. But yeah, we don't really need that because the max I think we really need is like 15,000 for most things. I think that is the highest. That's actually what we need to make the black hole down here. So beautiful. Now that we know how this functions, I mean, I think it's time for us to actually put it to work. So now to be able to technically automate this operation of sending in a particle, well, we are going to need those particles, and let's actually do the one that we need to actually complete here. So we need to make the polonium dust to be able to make these small polonium pellets. To be able to produce this, we need to combine uranium dust and fluxite. But how do we actually know when to send this? I mean, we need to make sure we can detect when a particle reaches a certain speed, so that way we know exactly when to send it. And that's where another useful thing comes into play. The particle accelerator speed sensor, which is also from Oritech things. There is a normal speed sensor which emits a redstone signal, but this one, this basically just sends a redstone signal once it detects that a particle has reached a speed greater. Once it has passed through this particle accelerator, once it has detected it has reached that speed, it'll then just send a redstone signal. And this makes life a whole lot easier because we can use something like a dropper to immediately send the item into the particle accelerator. So we need to send it into this other particle accelerator, by the way. And let's just say in this one, we send the uranium, and then in this one, we're going to send the fluxite. So I can put the fluxite inside the dropper, and I'm going to use this particle accelerator sensor. I'm going to place this right on top of this. And inside here, we need to set the value that this needs to be at in order to complete the reaction. So 2,500. And so I'll go in here and I'm going to do 2500. I'm going to delete the 1 after putting that in. And we just want to make sure that this set it to greater 2. And then we need to link it to the thing. So we'll use an advanced target designator. We'll shift right click and shift right click to this. And it has now linked, and you can see it is saved. And this thing is going to read the speed that this actually shows up. And so what should happen is as soon as I put the uranium dust in here, it's going to pull 1 into the system, and it is going to accelerate until it hits the 2,500. As soon as it sees that, it will send a redstone signal, sending the item from the dropper immediately into here, which will inject it, and it fires off like a gunshot, and then the product gets sent over here. And it's not until this product is pulled out that another one will start up. And so as soon as I pull this out, you can see another one goes. And I'm assuming we can just simply hopper out of the system or pipe out or what have you. For right now, though, this is semi-automation, and we can fully automate it if we really want to. But for right now, we really just need 2 of these. I think that's all we need is just to be able to get 3 of the pellets. Once we have these pellets, this is actually going to allow us to break it down into the small plutonium pellets. And that's what we actually need to make the neutron collector. Now, I'm sure we're going to need to automate this setup here, but something that I will note is you're going to have to figure out how to automate this and have different sensors. The thing that we could potentially do is actually have multiple sensors possibly linked and that are within the ring, possibly here, that then have their own particle accelerator that can eject the different particles from different recipes into those. It sounds complicated, but yeah, if you're wanting to use a singular setup, that would probably be the way. If not, possibly having multiple of these same setups, they're not super expensive to make, and have multiple of them set up with different tiers. I mean, just looking at the things that we're going to make with this, I don't really see a lot of these things being like something that we fully automate anyways. I mean, the main thing that we would want to probably automate, possibly the stable antimatter down the road. And we only need to make, I think, one black hole. So yeah, it's between the antimatter and also possibly automating the thing that we're doing right now, which is the plutonium dust. I mean, this can just be done with a hopper, for example, to automate it. It's that simple. Now, something I did notice in these assembling recipes here for the plutonium, we definitely want to go with using durathium. I have this automated, so yeah, get the most out of what we are producing. It makes 4 pellets for the cost of 1. That seems like a no-brainer. And voila, plutonium pellets ready to go, and small plutonium pellets also ready to go. With that, I mean, we're at the point where we can make a neutron collector. I mean, we could probably make more than one. We may need to make more than one, but as of right now, I just want to make one and just see what we can do with it. Strange matter, we have Fortron here, and we also just need some temperature. The strange matter we definitely have. I'm going to build a pattern for this, and now we can actually craft them inside the world engine, which I kind of want to get this going as soon as possible, considering it's another one of those things that just takes a little bit of time. Also, by the way, you may want to see, how am I actually getting strange matter? Well, it comes from the refinery process that we set up a few episodes ago, where we're turning lava into strange matter. But that's happening over here. I think it's the one that doesn't, or that does have a catalyst. Yeah, the indiric compound. And look at that. There's our collector done. Now that I have my collector, it's time. It's time. It's on hook time. Oh gosh. So over here, we are tick accelerating. And if I place this nearby, this does make it go significantly faster. So I do want to pick this up. I just want to show you how slow this is when not in the actual range of this. We do F3B, we can see the range, by the way, of the watch of flowing time. So F3B to turn that back off. Yeah, I mean, it takes some time. This is a point percentage, by the way. That is a 1% right there. That shows you how slow it is. Now, if I fully tick accelerate this, there we go. Now that seems a bit more reasonable. And this is actually granting us some of this. Now there's multiple ways we can tick accelerate, and we're probably going to want to get into those very, very soon. But this is probably the simplest way to do it, is by just having like one of these things nearby and just letting it build up, and possibly having more than one of the neutron collectors within the area of a single provider here. But we can also tick accelerate the tick acceleration of this, I think. And this, I think, is adding to each other. I don't know, but it is going up a bit faster. I think for right now, I'll just hook this up to a drawer, and we'll just put a puller upgrade on here. And that should be able to accelerate all the way over to this space. And yeah, that's going to start putting them in slowly but surely. Now, believe me, the goal here is to get a chicken that can produce these, because this just takes a really long time. And the chicken is not too bad. We do need to make a heavy core. I mean, that's a particle collision, and it's actually not too bad to get. We do need reinforced Deepslate, which is a recipe that we can actually make within the forge. And now, believe me, we are going to want this chicken, because to be able to make antimatter, which is down the road, we need to use a neutron activator. And the neutron activator itself is going to require these neutron piles inside of the machine. You know, and since we're in the process of making some chickens, yeah, let's make the timey-wimey chicken. I believe all of this stuff is on AutoCraft, and it's another world engine upgrade, or a world engine task, not upgrade, that we can throw in here. And probably going to make one at a time, but I am going to make 2 of these, I think. Actually, you know what? 1 might be good enough for right now. And voila, a time chicken is done. Look at that. Now I'm just going to level this bad boy up. Toss it in here, let that guy get some gains. So now I have unlimited time. I can use this, like I mentioned, as a way to accelerate. There's also, though, the souls, which I definitely want to get into soon. Maybe something we actually work on, getting industrial foregoing souls up and running. And we can actually run industrial foregoing souls through our applied energistics system, which is kind of powerful, and I really love it. But why do we need things like this? Well, this one block right here, which I know we can make more than one of them, but this one block, we are going to need enough of these piles to be able to make the chicken, then we don't have to worry about it anymore. But to be able to make that chicken, we need like almost 3,000 of these neutron piles. in order to get that chicken and make sure we have a sustainable amount to provide these things. So that is something to kind of keep in mind. We're also going to need it looks like for cosmic meatballs, possibly. Yeah, definitely can make those down the road. They're probably required for something. Maybe not, maybe just food. Either way, this right here is the wild part of this. It's just simply waiting for this to build up. And if you didn't have any way to tick accelerate, let's say you're playing on a server and they have this disabled, this is where souls I think would really come in, or just having time wands be able to do this. Now, another funny thing that I'm looking at is like, I don't know, the void matter block and also the void container. This is actually pushed back. So you can't even make the chicken until after this chapter is already completed and you already have some sort of antimatter setup going. So yeah, the more I look at it, we've got to get souls up and running. And that's possibly going to be something we do next episode, because today, well, we're technically all out of time, and hopefully you learned something new about the particle accelerator. And if you did, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and give this video a huge thumbs up. And well, with that, guys, it's time for me to thank the amazing supporter that makes episodes like these possible. And that amazing thanks, well, that is going to go out to Maple. Thank you so much for your amazing support in choosing to support me over on the Discord, becoming a Discord premium member, and just supporting my content in one of the best ways possible. You absolute boss. And as always, guys, appreciate you very, very much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.